Welcome to Just Men, a life-changing program that resonates hope as well as encouragement. The program that gives you inspiration and information for the glory of God. I am your host, Jeff Tate, and thank you for joining Just Men. On today's program, we have a very special guest. He's a relative of mine that I just found out some time ago, about a year ago, and I'm just so excited and elated that he's on our program to kind of share his heart and share his entrepreneurship and things of that nature. Please join us for the first time on Just Men, Leon Bose II. What's going on, my brother? How you doing,
All
man?
right, yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing excited. I'm doing great. I just appreciate you being on our program. I know we have a lot to talk about in terms of some of the things you do behind the scene and in the development. But before we dive deep into that area, let's share just a little bit of kind of a quick bio on who is Leon Bose II.
Oh, Leon Bose II. I guess you already put it out there.
Yeah,
I'm your relative.
Yeah.
So
we've learned a lot.
With that being said, I like to think of myself as a child of God first. So a little bit on the bio. I was actually started off in the military. I credit the United States Army to great place to start. Remember that logo that they had? And it truly was for me. So it opened up the door for college, and it also opened up the door for me spiritually to be able to go out and to be able to home it in. Even there was love, God, and peace in my home without any question. But however, it always was contained in the home, and I never really went out and was able to manifest it and see how it flourished through the world. But the United States Army gave me that perspective, so gave me a chance to go to college. And then from college, I got out the military, and I became a network engineer. Worked with different products, and kind of don't want to get into the names, but I hold a couple certifications. And then I had an idea one day. Well, let me tell you the story. My son got on the school bus, went to school, and at the end of the day, when we were expecting him to come home, he didn't arrive. When he didn't arrive, we went to the school and we, questioned, hey, where's our son? And what they could not determine was whether he had came to school that day at all. So instantly they started telling us things like, me and my wife, telling us that if we couldn't locate our child within the first 8 hours, that there was probably a lesser chance finding him unharmed. So, and this actually was in the state of Georgia. And in the state of Georgia, they have cameras on every bus by the state law. And even with the cameras on the bus, it was still not able to identify whether the students getting on the bus were in fact either our son or not our son. So there wasn't that definitive proof that we needed. And as the hours crept away, we really began to get nervous. Unfortunately, he went home with a friend for the first time in his life. So he was 11 years old and decided to go over a friend's house. They lost track of the time. They were playing games, and he was actually all right. But still, just the emptiness and the scaredness that created made me and my wife quickly decide that, there needs to be a better way. And she thought that I might be able to come up with something, and I did. And that product is called Who Was on the Bus. And what it does, it takes the fingerprint of a child as they get on the school bus, and it initiates a text message or an email to the parent saying that the child rode the bus, and gives the GPS information of where and when they got off the bus. So that's the product that I wanted to come talk to you about today, and see if you had any questions around that.
Yeah, that's good. And I know that's a good way, and I think it segues into some of the things in building the platform of the program, the things that you're doing is in the entrepreneurial spirit behind that. But I'm always intrigued by, there's a saying that at the point of precipice, we change. When there's a midst of turmoil or some level of anxieties, people begin to either tap into a greater wisdom or greater insight or greater knowledge and bring it forth. And next thing you know, they create this ideal, this grandiose ideal, and it's like, man, where did it come from? And I know that all gifts come from God. I mean, it's inspired by God, but sometimes it takes life circumstances to pull us into that to bring out that gift. So before we start talking a little bit specifically about your program, share some information and insight in terms of how looking over your life and reflecting on some of the things. I mean, you said that you were conditioned through the armed services. Obviously, you started out being conditioned in your home. How adversity created inspiration in your life in terms of that, and not only just do it with who's on the bus to get on the bus, but also in other areas of your life where you can see that it's been there in so many areas of your life, not just when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Wow.
There's a deep question in it.
That's a deep question. Any yes or no questions there?
Yeah.
But, and actually there are some yes or no answers there.
Mm-hmm.
The adversity really comes with the reaction. I think we all go through adversity. It's not so much the adversity that you go through in each situation, but it's how you answer each situation. You know, so we know that if a man falls 7 times and gets up 7 times, we know he's going to be all right. So it's truly within that action. And that's pretty much how I handle all my diversity. I can't say that I handle it that way from the beginning, because the beginning you're overwhelmed, but you have to step back. And that stepping back to me is not really stepping back, but it's stepping towards God. And as you step towards God, you'll realize that it's going to be all right. Even the things that I feel are my worst nightmare have always turned out to be a stepping stone, whether that stepping stone is a small stepping stone or large milestone. They're always stepping stones. So the adversity and knowing who God is, and when you submit yourself to God, you're able to turn around and have a different perspective on things. So it's not, to me, trouble and adversity. It's truly that step going forward. What are you going to do to overcome it?
Wow.
So in my life, I've had a lot of adversity. Recently, I lost my mother, and I thought, this is it. This is the end for me. I don't have what it takes behind me to go forward. But once again, that's the initial thought. The next step, I stepped towards God, and I was still able to do the things that I need to do today.
Wow,
So
that's beautiful. You know, you're touching a lot of men's heart because they feel a sense of despair and hopelessness. And not only just being shackled down from a 9-to-5 job or in a relationship or some other commitment that has gone bad or a relationship that's gone bad, but feeling a sense of despair because they don't feel the joy, the peace, the inspiration to live and to move on. And knowing, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question. I had no inclination that you would respond the way you did, but it's so powerful that you can reflect on that and still see the hand of God move and move in the direction to bring you joy, peace. But you said something very powerful too. He says you step towards God. And many men have a very difficult time stepping towards God because they feel that the allowance of what happened in their life was under his sovereignty and under his control.
True.
And so sometimes that's a very difficult time, and I understand it. Being sensitive to what you said in terms of your family and bringing you up and nurturing you to be, as you say, a child of God, a man of God. How do you reflect that standard in your business, in your marriage, in your union with others? How do you reflect that?
Let me pause for a second because I want to make sure that I put this out there so there's no misunderstanding. It's still the same as the adversity. There's no difference. This first step is to God first. So when I go to heaven, God is not going to ask me, how did I treat my cousin? He's not going to ask me how I treated my wife. He's going to ask me, how did I treat his child? So in knowing that, I always try to step to God first. I mean, I'm not perfect, and none of us are, but I think if you step to God first, then your steps are ordered, and he'll lead you down the right path. That becomes a very important part. And it's not just on the small things, but it's on the great things as well. And what makes the smaller things easier is stepping to God first. So if you turn around, and from my perspective, whether it's adversity, it could be something as waking up the next day and knowing how I'm going to finish that day. What I want to know before I really start that day is that, one, I am stepping forward towards God. So not necessarily stepping back, but stepping towards God, that I'm doing what He would have me do. And then the decisions become a lot easier. So your decision is not about the convenience of right now, but it's truly about where you're going to be tomorrow. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be, and we all want great things. I mean, but you have to really exasperate and step towards those things with effort. It's always nice to say, I want the nice car. I want the big house. If you want those things, you really have to step towards those. But it's not stepping towards material things first. Put God first, and then He will line those things up. So the product, like I said, basically through the biometrics, which is the fingerprint. We have a business relationship with Integrated Biometrics. They have a patented system for taking biometrics from fingerprints. So it's really different. It's not that you can copy a fingerprint, put it onto the biometric reader, and still be able to generate a pass. It actually looks for certain resonations of a live fingerprint. So you couldn't do like a little rubber mallet, put it on there and say, oh, I'm in because I copied somebody's fingerprint. We also went through some extremes. We wanted to test their systems, and we tested quite a few vendors. We had kids put peanut butter on their fingers, wipe the peanut butter off just by licking it off, place it on the biometric, and see if the metric could get a positive scan or rejection. Once again, Integrated Biometrics yielded to be the best. So we developed a business relationship with them. So that's the, if you will, the nucleus behind the scenes that's allowing us to do it. I don't want to go into their patented technology and reveal anything I shouldn't.
Exactly.
But you can look them up online as Integrated Biometrics. So the other thing was, how are we going to put this on the bus? We've initially looked at putting a laptop on the bus, and then there were just some obvious fallbacks. If something happened to the bus, is it in the way of the students exiting the bus, or is it even in the way of the bus driver exiting the bus? So we wanted to prevent some of that. So what we've done is we've come up with a, it's a little bit bigger than your cell phone. It's about 7 to 10 inches. We actually had it developed. It's a regular, I can't say regular, it is a computer. It has all the computer functionalities, but what we've done is we've took that hardware and we married it up so that it complements the biometric systems that we're bringing in from Integrated Biometrics and some of the technology as far as the wireless to be able to go out and instantly get you the message. Today, we run a demonstration, and in that demonstration, when we go out to schools, you can swipe your finger here in Nashville. Our servers and home office that monitors the responses, everything is located in Ohio, and the messages actually come out of South Africa, and they usually take anywhere between 15 to 20 seconds for you to get the message that your son or daughter got on or off the bus. So it's truly about the protection of your child. Sums it up. I mean, we love our kids. I mean, I like to think we love our kids. Yeah. And no, seriously, we do love our kids. And protecting your kids and your loved ones, this is a mechanism that allows you to protect them. You're knowing if they're going to school. You're able to ascertain if they're going to school late. You can't trade fingerprints with somebody, so nobody can get on the bus for you. So it cuts down on truancy. Yeah. It's just immediate gratification. And then with today's technology, and as we're able to lower the cost of technology, I'm even able to lower my price for the technology. So why would we spend all this money on entertainment, football, baseball, basketball, and other things, and not truly invest in where our heart is.